In an ever-shifting global landscape, Russia's latest financial decisions are making waves. A sudden surge in defense spending to a staggering $100 billion raises questions and eyebrows. Today, we will be uncovering the story behind these figures and the implications for the world stage. Keep watching until the end of the video to see the real reason Russia's spending $100 billion. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Delving into the numbers, the scale of Russia's defense expenditure is jaw-dropping. A figure of $100 billion, a sum that accounts for a third of all public spending, is an extraordinary leap. In just half of 2023, defense allocations already surpassed previous yearly targets. These aren't just random spikes. They signal a nation making bold, calculated moves on the geopolitical chessboard. As we venture further, the depth and strategy behind these massive allocations will become ever clearer, painting a picture that many might not expect. The unfolding conflict in Ukraine is pivotal in understanding Russia's defense expenditure surge. Beyond the overt battles and territorial engagements lies a narrative of geopolitics, power dynamics, and economic ambition. Russia isn't merely engaging in a transient military skirmish. This is a deliberate strategic projection of its power. The increase in defense budget, therefore, is not an impulsive decision but a testament to Moscow's commitment to this confrontation. Every billion spent narrates a story of Moscow's aspirations and the depths of its stakes in Ukraine. However, it's essential to recognize the broader canvas. As war costs soar, the repercussions ripple through Russia's economic landscape. This intertwining of defense, strategy, and economics is an intricate tapestry, revealing layers that the world must decipher. Peering behind the vast curtain of Russia's financial blueprint reveals more than just staggering numbers. There's an intricate web of priorities, choices, and narratives. The recent budgetary allocations aren't spontaneous but stem from a carefully curated vision. For many, the shift towards increased defense expenditure might appear as a singular, aggressive stance. However, deeper insights unearth a combination of strategy, national interest, and perhaps a touch of desperation. Falling export revenues, looming budgetary deficits, and a changing global landscape have all nudged Moscow into this direction. But there's more. The absence of sector-specific budget expenditure data indicates an increased opacity in financial decision-making, further thickening the plot. While the global community can speculate, only a closer look behind this fiscal veil can truly decode Russia's future trajectory and its implications on the world stage. As Russia continues to bolster its defense, the tremors of this shift are being felt far and wide across its economic landscape. On the surface, the war-driven expenditures seem to be fueling a modest economic recovery, particularly visible in increased industrial production. Yet this immediate surge obscures a murkier undercurrent. The mounting costs of war are chipping away at the nation's coffers, pushing it towards a budget deficit nearing a daunting $28 billion, exacerbated further by dwindling export revenues. Moreover, the focus on national defense threatens to overshadow and cannibalize other pivotal sectors. The boost in defense-related output could come at a heavy cost, potentially sidelining private investment and monopolizing resources. As the defense sector bulges, other areas like education, healthcare, and infrastructure might bear the brunt of curtailed funds. This economic realignment doesn't just concern Russia. It holds significant implications for global dynamics. An isolated Russia facing international sanctions and global skepticism could reshape trade partnerships, energy markets, and geopolitical alliances. Every move Moscow makes, every ruble redirected, sends ripples that could redefine economic relationships and balances across continents. Amid the surge in defense spending, a concerning pattern emerges in Russia's economic narrative: sector cannibalization. With billions pouring into defense, what suffers? It's the civilian sectors, the lifeblood of a nation's internal stability and growth. The investment in missiles and tanks is drawing resources away from schools, hospitals, roads, and other vital infrastructure. This is not mere redistribution. It's a choice that carries long-term implications. While the military-industrial complex revs up production, witnessing unprecedented growth, foundational sectors face stagnation or decline. This shift risks not only the broad economic landscape, but the very social fabric of the nation. An over-reliance on one sector, especially defense, can lead to fragilities and imbalances that may take decades to rectify. As Russia dramatically reorients its financial priorities, the global community watches with a mix of intrigue and trepidation. This isn't just about Russia, it's a bellwether of shifting global dynamics. With Moscow doubling down on defense, allies and adversaries alike must recalibrate their strategies. Some nations may interpret this as a sign of aggression, necessitating a bolstering of their own defenses. Others might see opportunities to fill gaps in sectors Russia may be neglecting. Furthermore, Russia's potential isolation, accentuated by sanctions and reduced trade partnerships, could catalyze new alliances and economic corridors elsewhere. The international energy market, heavily influenced by Russian exports, stands on the brink of redefinition. Russia's decisions, in essence, aren't contained within its borders. They radiate outward, challenging the global status quo and prompting nations to rethink their geopolitical and economic stances. As we dissect Russia's budgetary allocations, an unmistakable dichotomy emerges: the surging emphasis on military commitments vis-à-vis the seemingly sidelined civilian sectors. This is not just a matter of numbers on a spreadsheet. It paints a broader picture of a nation's shifting priorities at a pivotal juncture in its history. The soaring defense budget is indicative of Russia's strategic focus. There's a palpable drive to reinforce its military prowess, arguably seen as an essential move in today's geopolitical climate. But this comes at a tangible cost. As billions get earmarked for defense, other pivotal sectors are feeling the strain. Education, healthcare, and infrastructure, which form the bedrock of any thriving nation, now face an uncertain future. Delving deeper, the implications of such priorities become even more evident. As Russia pumps more funds into military production, churning out munitions at a rate previously unseen, its civilian industries show signs of stagnation. While defense contracts might provide an immediate economic boost, they could have long-term ramifications on sectors that sustain everyday life. Hospitals, schools, and roads are foundational elements that ensure a nation's health, education, and connectivity. However, they now find themselves in the shadows, potentially deprived of the attention and resources they so critically need. The narrative also extends to employment. As defense industries ramp up, attracting more workforce, other sectors might soon face talent drains. When a nation's brightest minds are drawn predominantly to military projects, innovation and progress in civilian sectors could lag. To make matters more pressing, the effects aren't restricted to a year or two. Such significant financial redirections could set the tone for decades, potentially reshaping the nation's fabric. Analyzing Russia's financial trajectory invites speculation on its future. With defense outlays hitting record highs, how does this shape Russia's tomorrow? Economic pundits are divided. On one hand, there's a belief that this robust military investment might yield short-term gains, spurring the economy through industrial production. The immediate fiscal steroids, as some have called it, could temporarily uplift the nation's economic standing. However, the longer-term forecast isn't as rosy. An overdependence on defense is likely to cannibalize essential sectors, potentially stalling sustainable growth. The Bank of Russia projects a modest GDP growth of 1.5%, 2.5% this year, but external bodies like the International Monetary Fund paint a more cautious picture, anticipating a mere 0.7% growth and warning of potential global isolation repercussions on Russia's prospects. A key takeaway? Immediate gains might mask deeper vulnerabilities. Moreover, with increasing defense outlays, there's the looming threat of inflation. The recent hike in interest rates by the central bank signals apprehensions about an overheating economy. As export revenues dip and budgetary pressures intensify, the nation could be steering towards a financial precipice. Only time will reveal if Russia's gamble pays off, or if a course correction is on the horizon. In a world of political chess and power plays, the real motive behind Russia's massive defense expenditure isn't just about the war. It's a strategic positioning, a signal to global powers, and perhaps an inward reflection of its aspirations and fears. Stay informed, dive deeper, and always seek the truth. Consider subscribing for more insights like these.